Jason here, and we are going to be feeding the worms, or
We're feeding the worms today.
okay, neat.
So these are my handy dandy worm bins. And here is our worm castings, or worm poop.
Gorgeous.
So the first thing we do, there's a drain at the bottom of these tubs. And there's all this wonderful worm juice at the bottom. Oops,
Ooh.
that I just spilled.
Yes, but it is gorgeous. You can see it.
It's
Here's
the
a
technical
close-up of it.
The technical name for this is it's called worm leachate. I just call it worm juice. And I will strain this out and it will go into my worm juice jar. This stuff is highly nutritious. If you use it on your plants, it needs to be diluted at least 1 part worm juice to 10 parts water.
Wow. So, what do you have in that worm bin? That one. What do you start with?
So, I just do a single layer worm bin, which works just fine. So, this side is where the new material will go that they will feed on, and then we remove the worm castings from this side. And if you'll notice, on this side of the worm bin, I'm digging in and there's no worms in here because they've migrated towards the food. So we take our worm castings from the side of the bin that they have vacated. You may occasionally find a worm, but it doesn't really matter. If you took a worm out, it's fine because the worms are self-regulating. So they will adjust their sexual activities to the amount of food available.
Now, what do the worms look like?
Let's find a worm. And here they are.
Oh, yes.
These worms were given to me. I'm not sure of the variety. There are numerous varieties of worms that can be used. But they need to be worms specifically for composting and not earthworms.
Oh, good to know.
Earthworms actually eat the soil, and you don't want that.
Won't they poop it back out, though?
They will, but that's not the mechanism that you're looking for when you want to make this stuff.
Okay.
The worm castings are 3 times more potent and nutrient dense than compost.
Wow.
And if you were using this to add to a pot when you're transplanting, this is all you need. You don't really need a whole lot. It's very nutrient dense.
And so you just put a clump of that in a pot when you're transplanting?
Yep.
Interesting.
Or you'd put it in the hole when you're putting a plant in the ground. So there it is.
Very nice.
Notice that there's no odor, as I just touch it to my nose. And also, if you'll notice, it does not stick to your hands.
Interesting.
It's really cool stuff.
You smell that? No odor.
So it's going to go in our worm castings bucket.
Oh, very nice. Boy, if that isn't a bucket of gold.
One thing you'll find if you put eggshells in here, they will not break down. But it doesn't matter. They will eventually break down over time.
Boy, I'd hate to be the worm that got stuck in there. The bucket of poop. It doesn't happen.
They would be fine.
Huh. Okay, so we're gonna put some food in this side.
We are.
And is this what we're gonna put in?
Yes. Any kind of kitchen scraps, coffee grounds, old bread.
Beautiful beets, zucchini, carrots.
And we have some
lettuce.
some pomelo here. We'll put that in. Worms particularly like watermelon rinds. And interestingly enough, the worms actually do not consume the scraps. What they do is they slurp up the liquid from that's that's created from the decomposition process. They don't actually eat the um, the kitchen scraps that you put in. They just slurp up all the yummy juices
Oh,
that are
interesting.
involved in the
Okay, so
decomposition process.
when you get a bucket like this that goes into this one, where do you put the holes in this?
So the holes go in the bottom.
Where?
Typically
Okay.
they're 1/4 inch holes, and you just put, like 10 or 20 in the bottom.
Okay. And then what do you put in it to get started?
I'll show you.
Okay, good.
So we've taken out some of the worm castings here from this side where they've vacated,
I just want to make a quick video.
and then we're going to move it all over. So now we have room on this side to place our new material.
Beautiful. So they do like citrus fruit.
They do.
What
They
about
love old
banana
bread.
peelings? Can you put that in?
Yes.
Okay.
So what I make for them is what I call worm lasagna, because it's about layering.
Wet newspaper.
So wet newspaper. So we have a layer of wet newspaper. And then we make about a 1/2 inch layer of our kitchen scraps. The smaller the pieces of kitchen scraps, the better. And then I like to add a little bit of native soil. It's not completely necessary, but it is helpful. It aids the worms in their digestion.
Nice. Native soil without any pesticides or.
Yeah. And then we add a layer of newspaper, just like lasagna noodles. And then we start all over again with another layer of the kitchen scraps.
Should we put some of this in?
Sure. That's fine.
No more.
And this, just for fun. And some more newspaper. And we just keep doing this until it reaches the top. And then we're always going to place a newspaper on the top, just like we would lasagna. And then needs to be checked about once a month. But like I said, the worms are very adaptable. They will adapt their reproduction cycle to the amount of food available, so you really can't kill them. You could leave this sitting for 16 months and you'd come back and there'd still be worms in here. And they will have reproduced and kind of gone into dormancy, and then once the food levels have increased, they will basically come back to life. It's pretty cool. And that's it. Pretty easy.
Awesome.